I will then give the stage to Sturla from Siteimprove.
Thank you. Yes, it's really nice to be here. And today I will be talking a bit about how to navigate the SEO landscape today. And we will be doing that by going through, well, the last couple of years, I've been working on various different SEO projects with our customers, and we can draw some findings on what do the people that succeed the most with SEO do versus those who don't. So we will be looking at some best practices, and we will be doing so by looking at a live website that is kind of Siteimprove's playground when it comes to SEO. So we will be, I will be jumping a bit back and forth between Siteimprove and this website, and then I have some slides as well. So, and I have about 30 minutes, so I will be giving you the highlights today, and and feel free to ask questions, and we will answer some of them afterwards. And if there's something that you haven't gotten an answer to, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn or by email later on. So I will start to share my screen. Okay. If you all can see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Okay. So what we would be looking about today is we will talking a little bit about an SEO Health Check, and I'll just talk about some of the things that you might be wanting to focus more on now versus earlier. And we will be talking about some KPIs and how to set up your workspace. And then we will be tapping a bit into keyword analysis, and we will look into it in terms of looking at the customer journey and content mapping. And then we will be also looking at some SEO structures. For those of you that don't know Siteimprove from earlier, we're a global company. Our head office is located in Denmark, and we do have an office in Oslo, where we are currently about 12 people. And we have been having a partnership with Anonic for several years, and so they know us very well. And as you will see later on, there are some good integrations between Anonic and Siteimprove. So what we I told you that we're going to be looking a bit at a live website. I'm just going to tell you shortly about the backstory here, because we have this website is a website that was that I built in 2018, where I just wanted to have this playground for testing out different SEO strategies and looking into what works, what doesn't work, and yeah, just play around. For those of you that don't speak or read Norwegian, this is a blog that is writing about different topics regarding if you want to do some work on your house, your garden, if you want to build a garage, if you want to work with isolation, different topics. And what we did was that we put this website into Siteimprove just to have a look at the different scores. And then we started to see what we had done correctly and what we should work more on. And based on that, we also started to compare the findings we had on this website with a lot of different projects that I have been involved with as an SEO consultant for Siteimprove. And the findings and the best practice that we found is the things that I want to share with you today. I will just spend 1 or 2 minutes just telling those of you that don't have Siteimprove just how it works, so you will understand the rest of this presentation. What you're looking at right now is kind of the main window of Siteimprove when you log on to it. Siteimprove is a tool where you can work with quality assurance of your content. Siteimprove crawls your website, and then it reports back in terms of quality assurance, all the spelling errors you have on your website, all the broken links. We do some text analysis, and we also give you a complete overview over all the assets that you have on your website, such as scripts, links, documents, media files, email addresses, and so forth. In addition to that, Siteimprove, you can also work with accessibility in Siteimprove, and you can work with SEO and also analytics. And the way Siteimprove works is that we have this gamification system where you will get awarded points for solving problems, such as, and you can the maximum number of points that you could get is 100 points. Just to give you a reference of the different scores there. One of the things that I want to highlight is that when working on an SEO project today, the first thing you always should do is to kind of clean up in your own house, which means that doing a health check to get an overview of the state of your website is always really important, because most websites, at least if you haven't been working with SEO for some time, you have a lot of really low-hanging fruits that you could pick just by fixing a lot of general stuff on your website. So, and most SEO tools have this feature that it will run a health check, and then you will get a list of things that you want to fix. And I'm just going to start by going through some of these, the most important things here. And whether you're using Siteimprove or it could be SEMrush, Ahrefs, Moz, or something completely else, you will get a lot of the same data, just presented in different ways. So I'm just going to show you, when we started working on this website, this was the score we had. So there was a lot of broken links and a lot of spelling errors, actually. There was some accessibility errors, and there was some SEO errors as well. And at the time, this website had about 7,000 monthly visitors. When going into, now I'm looking at some of the fixed issues here, but some of the things that you always just should clear out is that you do have a secure website, and also that you have that you use some kind of compression, and that your website is mobile friendly, which is some of the things that would affect your rankings a lot. And when it comes to And when it comes to and the second thing is speed. One of the if you haven't heard about Core Web Vitals yet, that's an update from Google, where Google now will give your website a score in terms of loading time, which means that this has now become a ranking factor. How important ranking factor it is still uncertain, but I think that if something is important for Google, it should be important for you as well. I will get more back to this in a bit. Going through all the errors that currently are on your site, just work through them. And as you see, another aspect is that accessibility. We see that when we go into, and also when we are looking at all our customers, one error that we almost see every time is mobile speed, which means that this is an area that if you fix it, you will probably get an advantage over the rest of your competitors, because at least in Norway, this seems to be a problem for a lot of websites. And luckily for you guys, you have the Anonic CMS, where you actually have the opportunity to actually fix this. And when it comes to mobile speed, one reason for some of the most common reasons for having a low loading speed is that you have prioritized, you could be using scripts that are slowing down your site. You could have large images, and you could have some structural issues that is actually quite easy to fix. And it's something that I would really look into. A second thing is accessibility. And this is also an area where we often see a low score. And just to give you some insights about what you can gain by being good at web accessibility, one thing is that, at least in Norway, you are obliged by law to follow the web accessibility guidelines. And but if that is not enough, what accessibility actually does is that it helps people with visual disabilities to navigate your website, which means that by adding by marking images the right way, by formatting your text the right way, by using the right labels on forms, there is a lot of things that you actually could do that is quite easy to fix, which means that you are not only increasing the user friendliness for visually impaired people, you are actually giving all your visitors on your website a better user experience. And a lot of people come to us and they tell us that they kind of care about accessibility, but they find it hard to incorporate best practice within the design they have at the moment. And I think that in terms of working good with accessibility, accessibility should actually be an integral part of your design strategy, which means that whenever you are thinking about design, you are also thinking about accessibility, because by doing that, all the solutions that you build will be built with accessibility in mind. And the largest blind user is actually Google. So and in Norway, the Norwegian Blind Association tells us that about 30% of the Norwegian population needs some kind of accessibility. So, and in terms of SEO, there is a strong connection between accessibility and SEO. And this is also an area where you could actually differentiate from probably a lot of your competitors. When you have come to the point that you have fixed all the when you have cleaned up in your house and you have a good SEO score, and you have also cleaned out and you have a good accessibility score, we see that the next step is to actually start measuring SEO by the same things as the same KPIs that you as a company measure your success on. So one thing we always recommend our customers to do is to go in and define some KPIs that you also could link to your SEO efforts. So what we have done here is that on this blog, I'm just going to give you an example. We have this article about isolation, where we are linking to the different producers of isolation, which so one of the KPIs we have set on this website is the number of clicks we send to the producers of different kinds of isolation. So here we have this EPS, we have Glava, this is probably a really Norwegian name, and then we have XPS. So what we actually can see now is that in terms of our SEO efforts, we can see that two of our key metrics are actually at the moment performing above average. But we have this third one that is performing below average. And we also can see that in terms of our main KPI, we are actually a bit ahead of target. And by doing this, we are adding something else, because it's really easy to measure the success of SEO by your rankings, which of course is a really important factor. But by adding the same KPIs that you are the rest of the rest of the company is looking at, it will be so much easier to actually show the true value of the good work that you do. And at least for larger organizations, we see that there are normally large teams involved, which means that it's really important to see how does the different teams' efforts, how does it affect our SEO work. So we also advise our customers to set up some kind of reporting, which makes it easy for everyone to understand how their contribution affects the SEO work. So I'm just showing you here. This is a SEO overview keyboard where we are looking at the big picture. So right here we will see the development in SEO traffic. We have the different SEO projects. We have set up 2 different SEO projects here. One that is concerning it's 2 different themes. I'm a little bit unsure about the English words for this, but drenering. I don't know if Steve or Morten, if you know, but this is actually about getting rainwater to not pour into your house, but go away from your house. And this last word here is a height measurement when you are building houses and garages and stuff. So anyway, we have picked out some keywords, and here we have this overview of our rankings, position change, and below here we have our different KPIs, which means that we could see the conversions, the SEO conversions that we have concerning these projects, which makes it so much easier to see that are my keyword relevant? Does my keywords actually convert, or have we attained rankings for keyword that actually doesn't convert? So these numbers are vital. And also, when you want to show off your results, you can report to management that we are actually creating this amount of money each month now. We have a competitor analysis where we can go in and see how are we doing compared to the websites that we are competing with. And then we have this dashboard where we could go in and look at all the different subjects that we are working with. And we can also filter by which keyword have we already gained the position we want. Which keyword do we have to work more on our existing content, and on which keyword don't we have any content yet. And then we have this complete overview down here. So this is kind of a dashboard that I always would be wanting to have in an SEO project. So when I'm talking with my leader, I can show him that this is where we are at the moment. But then, of course, you would also have the people that are working operational with SEO, and they are probably much more interested in having a concrete, a specific list that they can work by. Like what we've done here is that we have taken the keywords and we have linked them with a landing site. And then we have crawled the landing site, so we know what do we have to do on this landing site in order to get a perfect SEO score. And then we have some different focus issues that we want to work with. We think that even if you don't work, operational with SEO, it's still important to have a overview of the ROI. And then we have backlinks that we have lost and gained the last week. And we have also included accessibility tasks that content producers could actually do. Because instead of having accessibility to be a project for or another project, we have implemented best practice accessibility into the SEO work so that we could solve two problems at once. And then we have, and this is maybe something that is specific for Siteimprove, but we have also added all the misspellings that we have found on all the landing sites, so it should be easy to fix them as well. And last, when you're working with SEO, you will also have some technical issues. Maybe these are things that you want to discuss with Anonic or your agency or your technical department. So what we have done here is that these are all the technical SEO issues that we have to start working with. We have, of course, included speed optimization performance score in this dashboard, because as you can see, this is a website that has a long way to go in terms of optimizing speed. So now our IT or our technical web team can go in and get a list of all the things that they have to start looking at. And of course, we have also included the accessibility issues that is of a technical character. So what we actually do have now is that we have the different keywords, and actually one thing I would like to add to this keyword, to one of those keyword. Let's see here. Yes. So So what we have now is we have this overview management dashboard where we actually could have everyone, even if you're working operational, if you're working technical, or whatever your responsibility might be, we have the dashboards that we need, so that we have this kind of 360 view and take on SEO, which makes it really easy to see that if some of these scores start really climbing, then we also can go in and see how does this actually affect the key KPIs that are important to us. As you see, when you when you're working operational with SEO, producing content, one of the things that you will end up seeing is that you would be needing to create more content, or you would be needing to improve the content that you already have. The recipe that we used on this website, it was actually quite simple, but it's really, really efficient. After doing a keyword analysis, we found a lot of keywords, and then at the moment we didn't actually know too much about the different subjects here, but we started reading up on them, and then we took all the info that was on both the first and the second page of Google, and then we started to look into what are missing, what are this content not telling about, how is the user friendliness, how objective it is, what sites are they linking to, and so on. And then we just created better content, so that our articles was just more in-depth, more complete. We tested out a lot of different stuff, so we got a lot of featured snippet as well. And we tested out some navigation elements in terms of making it easy for people to get to the part of the article they actually wanted. And this website was a brand new domain with 0 inbound links. So one of the things we wanted to test out was, just by creating really good content, or at least better content that already exists, what does Google think about that? We have actually attained a lot of pretty good rankings there, even though this is not the most competitive themes in Norway. It still is pretty good, and most of you guys would have domains with a lot of authority, which means that you're not starting from scratch, you're actually starting from somewhere pretty high. I will end by just giving you some insights about how to measure SEO, because I know that some of you are actually selling products, which is where it's quite easy to measure conversions. But then some of you, you might get inquiries instead. So then you would have to put a value on that inquiry in terms of measuring the REO. But then I know that some of you as well, you don't sell, you don't get inquiries, and neither do you actually necessarily sell a product. You are producing or manufacturing stuff that you are selling to somebody else that are selling them for you. So what I would do then, if you spend money on advertising, if you spend money on Google ads, if you spend money on ads on, it could be LinkedIn or Facebook, Instagram, wherever, you could actually take the price you pay for clicks there and add that as a key metric in terms of measuring value, which is yeah. So because you should definitely work with finding some way to measure the value of organic traffic. On the level beneath you have you could measure, both micro and macro conversion. A micro conversion could be somebody watching a movie, downloading a ebook or something. And then I would definitely go in and look at user journeys, look at funnels, and you look at interaction patterns, which will give you a lot of insight if people are using your website the way you want them to use it. And at least, of course, rankings, which is a pretty visible way to measure stuff. And I would just show you a structure in terms of how you could structure your website in terms of an SEO project. You of course have your homepage page, where is probably where you will target a lot of brand keywords. And then on the next level, you will have your category pages, where you will target your broad keywords, where you probably could get the biggest amount of traffic, but also probably the most irrelevant traffic. And then on the level above, you could have either, depending on what kind of company you are, you could have articles, or you could also have products. The products could, of course, also be linked to a web shop. And if so, you could use articles to target traffic, at least traffic that is in the early stages of a buying journey, where you can link into your products in terms of giving them more authority. So I can see that I'm really closing in on my time now, but I think that I hope you got some ideas about how you could structure and set up a good SEO campaign, and also to give you a couple of good advantages at the moment. I think that if you manage to incorporate accessibility as a part of your SEO project, you would get a pretty huge advantage over a lot of your competitors. Great. Siv, I'm thinking that I will stop my presentation now and answer some questions if there are any.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we have any questions in the chat. So if you want, you can just, you still have 4 minutes if you'd like.
Okay, good.
So if you have anything to add, or
sure.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So
yeah, sure. One thing that I would like to finish off with then, as you can see here in this case, just by cleaning out and just what we have done on this website since we started working with it is that we have actually just worked a lot with the quality assurance, fixing broken links, spelling errors. We've done some accessibility work, and then we have repurposed some of our content, which means that we have rewritten some stuff, republished it. And as you can see, in the last 3 months, we have actually almost doubled the traffic on this website, which means that just by doing the groundwork, it actually has a lot of effect. And when it comes to having, some might say that how does spelling errors and actually affect SEO? Well, it doesn't affect it directly, but if you have a lot of spelling errors, you don't give user-friendly content to your visitors, which is something that a lot of people actually quite like. So if you kind of take a holistic approach to SEO, and where user friendliness is your ultimate goal, then you will start to see that quality assurance is important, accessibility is important, and of course the different SEO scores. Speed, it's so important. And as a colleague of mine said the other day, have you ever used a website or a digital tool that was too easy to use? And if you start thinking about it, it's kind of hard to find one, because normally you will always find something that it kind of annoys you. So by going in and looking to how is to send us a message, how is it to navigate from A to B, how is it to actually fill out a form, do our customers have to go through 15 steps, or could we make it easier? Do we have any kind of content like a calculator or whatever that is? Is it easy enough to use? Because all these things is a part of what I would tend to look at as SEO, because it's, when you boil it down, it's all about user friendliness. So I think that and this is so important to get top management on board with that, and that's also why I think it's important that when you do work with SEO, to have some kind of reporting that they actually understand and can relate to. It's so important, because I think that all CEOs in Norway, they understand what this means. They could interpret numbers, and they could interpret green, red, or however you would like to present it. And seeing this curve that shows we started up here, now we are here. These are things that your whole organization will understand. So yeah, and to get everyone to, whether you're using Siteimprove or some other SEO tool, but you need to get, people need to understand them, and people need to relate SEO to what they do. Because if you're just writing articles and don't have SEO in mind, it's you could write an article that Google would give nearly as much love as it would by just changing some really easy stuff, how you use your headings, how you use keywords, how you build up your sentences, how you work with linking, images, and so on. So yeah. Yes, Eve. I think I will wrap it up there.
Great. Thank you so much. We had a question about sharing your slides, so I will send out the slides in an email later today.
No problem.
And we had a question about pricing, but we've given Mark your contact details. You can also go to siteimprove.com.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. It's definitely hard work to work with have a good SEO strategy. So
yes, it could be hard, but then again, it's all about. I think it's all about starting an SEO project with the right mindset and getting off on the right foot. I think that's so important. Yeah.